All right, that was a exclusive look at Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which is coming out later this year from Ubisoft. They've got a huge setup here at Comic-Con with their own pirate ship, believe it or not, which is docked here right outside of the convention center. So we'll be covering that. We'll have some footage up on GameTrailers.com next week of that. But right now, I'm joined by the lead writer, Darby, of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Darby, welcome to Comic-Con.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So you got your own pirate ship. You guys decide if we're going to do Comic-Con, you're going to do it right.
That's right. Yeah. So it's a kind of I think it's a local ship, and we rented it out, sailed it up here. I think it's moored usually just south of here. Sailed it up here. We outfitted it with all of our
black flags.
Exactly.
Okay.
And yeah, people can come aboard tomorrow and Saturday.
Okay.
And check out an exclusive demo that the public hasn't seen.
Right.
Play multiplayer. Look at a bunch of history of piracy and just hang out. It's pretty amazing to be aboard an actual square-rigged sailing ship. So
you mentioned the history of piracy. For people that don't know, Assassin's Creed 4 takes you into the pirate era, and this is a franchise which is blowing up over the years, but has gone, all over the place. Certainly, obviously, some stuff, based with the founding fathers of America last year, and then, obviously, the Italian Renaissance. This idea of piracy, I think some people initially were like, I'm not sure if how that's going to fit in the Assassin's canon. Yeah. So, as the lead writer, tell me about sort of taking the idea of an assassin in the pirate era, and how does that connect to the overall Assassin's history? Because I remember that one moment, I think it was a 2 or maybe it was Revelations, where you sort of went in that one hall and you saw all these assassins that sort of
that'd be together. 2 down in the underneath Monteriggioni.
Right, I remember that, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool, all these assassins. But I don't think there was a pirate in there.
No, there wasn't.
So it's like, tell me about how does that all connect together?
Well, when we recreate historical periods, we don't just want to use it as a backdrop. You don't just like sort of create buildings, get some accents, and then call it like, hey, we've recreated history. You also want to bring gameplay that makes sense in the world. So from that point of view, we anytime we look at a historical period, we also say what were things common, what were activities common at the time.
Right.
Obviously, AC3 they made the determination that sailing big ships was a large part of the American Revolution. So we started working on this technology. And then when we had that technology, we said we could do a golden age of piracy very easily. We started doing the research and found that even though pirates are most known in pop culture for, sailing around in ships constantly, living at sea basically, and attacking other ships, in our research we found that the buccaneers especially, but pirates in general, often almost 50% of the time attacked land targets. They would often use stealth and secrecy to do this. So we started to look around at the mechanics, and we knew that we could do an Assassin's Creed fairly easily. We also looked at the philosophy of pirates, which was very democratic. There were a lot of people who had pirate codes. Pirates were very egalitarian. They would vote on things and stuff like that. Much more egalitarian than the Royal Navy, for instance. Right. And that also fit in kind of in a sideways angle with our Assassin's Creed. So we knew that we could tell this story of a guy, of a pirate who came to the Creed from the outside, liked a little bit, liked their tools and liked their techniques, but didn't always like their creed, thought it was too restricting, a little too nice maybe. And so we wanted to tell that story. How does a guy who has some of their ideals, but not all of them, intersect with them in really weird ways, conflict with them? Maybe, and there's some points where he's a little bit tempted by our Templars too. And so he swings back and forth. And so we thought, I think when people play the final game, they will be like, why didn't they do this sooner, rather than how could this ever work?
Well, but this was also, this is the first Assassins you're doing, sort of the post-Desmond era, which obviously that was, a 3-game arc and led up to 2012, and that was sort of a big build-up. So this is sort of, in some ways, I guess, a bit of a reset, right?
It's not a reset in terms of the story, so the story keeps going on, but we are, now that we're concurrent in the game with the modern day, right? It's 2013 in the modern day now. So we will be 1 year later, but all the things that have happened will have happened.
I would know the reset as a sort of a fresh start, I guess, with a new character, because you're now the character.
Yes, you are now. We've removed one layer so that we don't have that sort of Inception-y thing of a guy playing a guy playing a guy. We want you playing Edward Kenway. The legacy of what Desmond did is still omnipresent in the game. You can feel his sort of presence everywhere. There are characters that return. So it's more that we've almost just stepped sideways, like sort of meanwhile in another part of the world, this is what's happening, and then all these other characters from the previous games will kind of intersect with it that way.
But it is your story now, and I know it's you guys even said, I think at E3, like now the Abstergo entertainment sequences, those are more sort of first-person experiences of you as the player.
Yeah, one thing we wanted to do is, as you say, like not a reboot, but there's a bit of a reset in terms of we wanted to make sure that this was a good game for new players.
Right.
So if you come into this game, you're just you start your first day at Abstergo Entertainment. This is your job.
Is that how the game does the game
Well,
begin?
I'm not going to say how it begins. It begins in an interesting way, but your introduction to the present day is you are at your first day at Abstergo Entertainment.
Okay.
And what that allows us to do is, if you know stuff about the Assassins and Templars already, if you're a fan of the previous games, there will be little things you see throughout, right from the beginning, that make you go, ah, okay. And you'll pick up on these clues. If you're new to the franchise, well, then we'll teach you what the Assassin Templar conflict is all about as you play the game.
Oh, cool.
But of course, there's a new well, there's a, what do you call it? I don't want to spoil things for the end of AC3, but there's, let's say, a third tier or a third faction, let's say, that has emerged, and that's also somewhat of a problem. So we complicated the present day. Let's say it's not a love triangle; it's a hate triangle, maybe.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll have to see. It's going to be very cool to see what you guys where you go with this game. Obviously, it's coming not just only to current generation systems, but we'll see it on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One as well.
Exactly. PC, Wii U as well.
Wii U as well. It's going to be everywhere.
Yes.
This holiday season, Assassin's Creed 4. Well, Darby, it looks really awesome. Thanks for coming by to give us a sneak peek at it.
Yeah, thank you. And if you're at Comic-Con, you don't even need a pass to come see our Jackdaw. So, hit the Jackdaw.
There's
please.
naval. You can take it out for some naval combat if needed late at night.
We may, if the late night parties get
Launch
a little
the
weird.
cannons.
Yeah, we may keel haul some people just for fun, stuff like that.
You never know. All right. Well, Darby, great seeing you. Thanks so much for a look at Assassin's Creed 4.